incredible. Unbelievable. Where's he now?
Do you remember those classic Halloween candies you used to hunt for in every corner store? The ones that seemed to vanish almost overnight, leaving trick-or-treat bags a little emptier and childhood memories a little sweeter? These beloved treats, each with their own flavor, texture, and charm, once defined the spooky season, only to fade into history. Let's take a nostalgic journey through 30 candy brands that vanished, but haven't been forgotten. Mary Jane. Mary Jane candies have a special place in the memories of anyone who grew up with them, that peanut butter and molasses flavor lingering on the tongue long after the wrapper is discarded. Introduced in 1914 by the Charles N. Miller Company, and later acquired by Necco, Mary Janes were a simple treat. Chewy, slightly sticky, and sweet, with a hint of saltiness that made them irresistibly nostalgic. Their classic yellow and black wrapper, featuring the profile of the adventurous Mary Jane herself, became as iconic as the candy inside, a small rectangle of comfort passed hand to hand at Halloween parties, school events, and neighborhood trick-or-treating rounds. The origin of Mary Jane reflects early 20th century candy-making ingenuity, when simple ingredients like peanut butter, sugar, and molasses could be transformed into a long-lasting, shelf-stable treat. Unlike more fragile chocolates, Mary Janes could survive in candy bowls for days, making them ideal for sharing or sending home with children after Halloween. The candy's flavor was straightforward, yet distinctive. The deep, slightly bitter richness of molasses paired with the creamy, nutty undertone of peanut butter created a balance that lingered in the memory far longer than other seasonal sweets. Making Mary Janes might seem quaint today, but it was a clever combination of practicality and taste in its time. The chewy texture and durable packaging made them easy to transport, and their peanut-centered flavor gave them a heartier feel compared to sugar-only candies. While they faded from the mainstream shelves and became harder to find after Necco's closure, the candy still resonates with collectors and nostalgics, a sweet reminder of simpler times. Mary Janes weren't just candy. They were a piece of childhood ritual, a chewy, flavorful snapshot of Halloween past, and a testament to how sometimes the simplest confections leave the most lasting impressions. Bit-O-Honey. Bit-O-Honey is one of those candies that instantly transports you back to school hallways, Halloween trick-or-treat sacks, and the gentle hum of family kitchens in the 1970s. Introduced in 1924 by the Shutter Johnson Company, and later produced by Nestlé, this chewy, honey-flavored treat studded with almond bits was beloved for its distinctive texture and nutty sweetness. Each individually wrapped stick promised a slow, satisfying chew, a candy that required patience and rewarded it with bursts of honeyed flavor. And its iconic yellow wrapper with red lettering became a familiar sight in candy jars and Halloween bags alike. The origin of Bit-O-Honey speaks to a time when confectioners experimented with combining nuts and natural flavors to create long-lasting, affordable treats. Its combination of honey, sugar, and almond slivers was simple yet ingenious, providing a unique chewiness that set it apart from standard taffy or chocolate. Unlike short-lived chocolates, Bit-O-Honey could endure a week in a lunchbox or a trick-or-treat bag without losing its appeal, making it a practical choice for families and a nostalgic favorite for generations of children. Bit-O-Honey's charm lay not just in its flavor, but in the tactile experience of eating it. That slow chew, the way the almond bits peeked through the honey candy, created a multi-sensory delight, connecting the taste buds with a sense of childhood patience and anticipation. In today's world of instant gratification, it feels almost quaint. Yet it reminds us of a time when candy wasn't just consumed, it was savored. Though its popularity has waned and it is harder to find on modern shelves, Bit O' Honey endures in memory as a sweet emblem of mid-century Halloween, a sticky, nutty, golden nugget of nostalgia that lingers long after the candy is gone. Necco wafers. Necco wafers are a candy that almost everyone over a certain age remembers, even if the flavor brings a wry smile rather than a sugar rush. First produced in 1847 by the New England Confectionery Company, these small pastel-colored discs were the very definition of old-school candy. Each circular wafer was lightly sweetened, chalky in texture, and came in a rainbow of flavors, from licorice and clove to wintergreen, chocolate, and lemon, stacked neatly in a roll of 12 or more. The candy's simple packaging and timeless design made it a staple of Halloween bags, pocket stashes, and holiday candy dishes, a treat that seemed to exist outside of fleeting fads. The origin of Necco wafers reflects the ingenuity of 19th century confectioners, who needed candies that were shelf-stable, inexpensive, and easy to produce in large quantities. Made primarily from sugar, corn syrup, and flavoring oils, Necco wafers were designed to last, which made them ideal for shipping across the United States and for handing out to trick-or-treaters. The chalky texture and understated sweetness might feel quaint to modern palates, accustomed to intensely sugary or chocolate-based candies, but for generations, they were a reliable, familiar treat that brought a sense of continuity to holidays and everyday life alike. Necco wafers carry a nostalgic resonance far beyond their flavor. They evoke memories of children unwrapping the paper twist to reveal the pastel stack, the sound of the wafers clinking together in the roll, and grandparents offering a piece just for old time's sake. Though the candy has faded from mainstream shelves after Necco's bankruptcy and acquisition, its cultural footprint endures. Necco wafers aren't just candy, they're a historical snapshot of American sweetness, a reminder that sometimes the simplest, most understated treats leave the most lasting memories. Clark Bar. The Clark Bar is a candy that tastes like nostalgia itself, a crunchy, peanut buttery, chocolatey memory of mid-20th century Halloween bags and school lunch boxes. First created in 1917 by David L. Clark in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it combined a crispy peanut butter-infused center with a smooth chocolate coating, creating a texture and flavor profile that felt both indulgent and substantial. Wrapped in its distinctive gold and red packaging, the Clark Bar quickly became a favorite for generations of children, not only for its taste, but also for its satisfying heft. A candy that felt like more than just a treat, almost like a reward for surviving a night of trick-or-treating. The origin of the Clark Bar reflects the innovation of early American confectioners, who were eager to combine textures and flavors in ways that were both affordable and memorable. Its peanut butter crunch core was a clever twist on existing chocolate bars of the time, providing a snack that was both sweet and protein-rich. The candy's durability and portability made it perfect for Halloween and other occasions, while its distinctive flavor, rich, nutty, and slightly salty, set it apart from the sugar-only confections that dominated candy aisles. Eating a Clark Bar was about more than flavor. It was an experience. The crunch gave way to creamy chocolate, and each bite felt like a mini celebration. Families remember unwrapping them with anticipation, the wrapper's crinkle adding to the excitement, and sharing pieces among siblings or friends. Though the Clark Bar has seen ups and downs in production and is less common today, it remains a symbol of vintage candy craftsmanship. It reminds us that some treats endure in memory long after they fade from store shelves, a testament to the creativity and care of candy makers who turned simple ingredients into unforgettable experiences. Dots Gumdrops Original Formula. Dot's gumdrops, in their original formula, were the ultimate sticky, fruity treat of mid-century Halloween celebrations, beloved for their chewy texture and bold, long-lasting flavors. Introduced by the Candy Corporation of America in 1945, Dots were unique because they contained no chocolate, no nuts, just pure, colorful gumdrop goodness. Each small, irregularly shaped piece offered a sweet, slightly tangy chew that seemed to stretch on forever, making them a favorite in trick-or-treat bags, party bowls, and lunchboxes alike. The bright reds, oranges, yellows, and greens popped against candy dishes, instantly signaling autumn fun and simple, joyful indulgence. The origin of Dots reflects post-war ingenuity in American candy making, when companies sought confections that were inexpensive to produce, shelf-stable, and endlessly appealing to children. Their gumdrop formula, chewy yet resilient, allowed them to survive long trick-or-treat nights without melting or breaking apart. Unlike chocolate or caramel, Dots delivered a tactile experience. Sticky fingers, slow chewing, and the satisfaction of savoring each fruity bite. Their enduring flavor combinations, cherry, lemon, lime, orange, and licorice, were simple yet distinctive, leaving a mark on generations of candy lovers. Eating Dots was as much about texture as taste. The chewiness created a ritual, stretching the gumdrop, rolling it between fingers, teasing out the flavor slowly. Families remember jars of Dots on holiday tables, the thrill of plucking one from a bowl, and the excitement of sharing with friends while savoring that slightly sticky sweetness. Though the original formula eventually changed and faded from the mainstream market, Dots remain iconic, a candy that embodies both the resourcefulness and whimsy of Halloween past. They remind us that sometimes the simplest candies, colorful, chewy, and unapologetically sweet, leave the most lasting impressions. Wax lips. Wax lips are one of those Halloween novelties that perfectly capture the playful, slightly mischievous spirit of the holiday. Introduced in the 1920s and gaining popularity mid-century, these oversized, bright red wax lips were meant to be worn for laughs before being chewed as a slightly sweet treat. Kids loved the theatricality, slipping them over their own mouths to mimic giant clownish smiles or mischievous grins, and parents secretly enjoyed their durability. They lasted all night in candy bowls without melting or getting sticky. For a generation, wax lips were less about flavor and more about fun, a whimsical intersection of costume and confection. The origin of wax lips reflects the ingenuity of candy makers in the early 20th century who wanted to combine humor, novelty, and low-cost ingredients into memorable treats. Made primarily from paraffin wax with a hint of flavoring and a dusting of sugar, they were completely edible, though chewing was more about texture than taste. Their novelty lay in both form and experience. Kids could wear them, pose for photos, and then bite into them, making them a social and interactive part of Halloween festivities. The nostalgic resonance of wax lips comes from the joy of shared laughter, the thrill of trying to speak while wearing them, and the theatricality of holiday mischief. Parents remember taking pictures, kids recall pretending to have outrageous smiles, and neighborhoods remember the ripple of amusement as little ones paraded around. Though wax lips have largely faded from mainstream Halloween candy, they remain a cultural icon of mid-century trick-or-treating. They remind us that sometimes candy wasn't just about sweetness. It was about playfulness, imagination, and the simple delight of making people laugh. Banana caramels. Banana caramels were a quirky, beloved staple of Halloween candy that seem almost impossible to find today. Yet for decades, they delighted children with their soft, chewy texture and sweet banana flavor. Introduced in the mid-20th century, these candies combined the rich, buttery sweetness of caramel with the bright, fruity taste of bananas, creating a unique flavor profile that stood out among the chocolate bars and hard candies crowding the holiday aisles. Wrapped in simple wax paper, they were easy to hand out, easy to savor, and perfect for the long trick-or-treat walks that defined Halloween nights. The origin of banana caramels reflects the mid-century penchant for experimenting with fruit-flavored candies, using shelf-stable ingredients to create something memorable and affordable. They were primarily made from sugar, corn syrup, butter, and banana flavoring, giving them a chewy, slightly sticky texture that contrasted nicely with the crisp autumn air of late October evenings. Unlike short-lived chocolate or fragile confections, banana caramels could endure a week in candy bowls or lunch boxes, making them practical for families while still delivering a distinctive taste experience. Eating a banana caramel was more than just a sweet indulgence. It was a ritual. Kids would unwrap the wax paper carefully, savor the chewy pull, and enjoy the subtle banana flavor lingering after each bite. Parents remember them as a reliable, no-fuss treat that offered a little sweetness without going overboard. Though these candies have largely disappeared from shelves, they remain a nostalgic emblem of mid-century Halloween. Banana caramels remind us that candy doesn't need to be flashy to be memorable. Sometimes a simple combination of fruit and caramel can create a treat that stays in our taste memories long after it has vanished from store shelves. Chick-O-Stick. Chick-O-Stick is a candy that somehow manages to feel both timeless and utterly nostalgic. A crunchy, peanutty treat that evokes the excitement of Halloween nights and corner store indulgences. Introduced in 1950 by the Atkinson Candy Company, this iconic confection features a core of peanut butter and toasted coconut, coated in a sweet, crunchy shell that shatters satisfyingly with every bite. Its bright yellow-orange wrapper, often crinkled in the bottom of a trick-or-treat bag, made it visually appealing even before it was unwrapped, promising a chewy, nutty adventure for children and adults alike. The origin of Chick-O-Stick reflects post-war ingenuity in candy making. When companies sought affordable, shelf-stable treats with distinctive textures and flavors, by combining toasted coconut with peanut butter and a crisp sugar coating, confectioners created something that could endure weeks in candy bowls or lunch boxes without losing appeal. Its playful texture, slightly sticky yet crunchy, with bursts of nutty sweetness, made it stand apart from standard chocolates or taffy, turning each bite into a miniature celebration of flavor and texture. Eating a Chick-O-Stick was an experience in itself. The satisfying crunch, the nutty aroma, and the subtle chewiness all contributed to a multi-sensory treat that lingered long after the candy was gone. Families remember unwrapping them carefully, teasing pieces apart, and sharing them with friends during Halloween festivities or school breaks. Though Chick-O-Stick's popularity has waned compared to modern confections, it endures as a beloved symbol of retro candy culture. It reminds us that a simple combination of coconut, peanut butter, and sugar can create a timeless treat, one that sticks in memory just as firmly as it does in your teeth. Bonkers! Bonkers was the candy equivalent of a mid-century party in your mouth. A chewy, fruity delight that promised a little bit of fun with every bite. Introduced in the late 1980s by Nabisco, Bonkers came in small rectangular pieces with a soft, taffy-like texture and a playful fruit flavor that seemed to jump between sweet and tangy. Each piece was individually wrapped in bright, whimsical packaging, often featuring cartoonish characters and energetic designs that mirrored the candy's lively personality. While short-lived compared to more enduring Halloween classics, Bonkers left an impression on a generation of kids who remembered it for its bold flavors and quirky charm. The origin of Bonkers reflects a period when candy makers sought to compete with flashy novelty sweets, combining vivid flavors, playful textures, and eye-catching packaging to capture children's attention. Ingredients included corn syrup, sugar, and fruit flavorings, resulting in a chewy consistency that was forgiving yet satisfying to bite. Its variety of flavors, grape, cherry, orange, and lemon, encouraged kids to mix and match, creating a small, personal candy adventure. Its bright, playful marketing made it feel less like a treat and more like a collectible, aligning with the 1980s trend of candy as both snack and entertainment. Eating Bonkers was more than simply satisfying a sugar craving. It was an experience. The soft chew, the burst of fruitiness, and the colorful wrapper combined to make each piece feel like a tiny celebration. While Bonkers eventually faded from store shelves, its memory lingers, emblematic of a candy era that valued creativity, whimsy, and bold flavor. It reminds us that some treats were as much about fun and personality as taste, leaving an indelible mark on the candy culture of its time. Fruit stripe gum. Fruit stripe gum is the kind of candy that makes you remember the sticky, colorful joys of childhood. Its zebra-striped sticks as iconic as the bold, fruity flavors they carried. Introduced in 1969 by the Beech Nut Company, this chewing gum stood out not only for its vivid stripes of red, yellow, green, and blue, but also for its playful mascot, the fruit stripe zebra, whose catchy jingles made the candy impossible to forget. Unlike ordinary gum, Fruit Stripe promised a burst of flavor that faded quickly, encouraging kids to chew fast, laugh, and maybe even share with friends before the taste vanished entirely. Its distinctive packaging and ephemeral flavor made it a Halloween favorite, a small, memorable indulgence amid a sea of chocolates and sugary treats. The origin of Fruit Stripe gum reflects a time when candy makers wanted to combine novelty, fun, and affordability. Made primarily from sugar, gum base, and flavoring, its design was playful yet practical, easy to hand out, toss into trick-or-treat bags, or keep in a pocket for on-the-go chewing. The fleeting, intense flavors were part of the experience, making each stick a momentary explosion of sweetness and fun. The zebra mascot and the included temporary tattoos enhance the playful appeal, turning a simple piece of gum into a small collectible and a conversation starter at parties and playgrounds alike. Eating Fruit Stripe gum was about more than just the taste. It was about the fun, the colors, and the memories it evoked. Kids remember tearing open the wrapper, admiring the stripes, and racing to chew before the flavor faded. Though its prominence has waned and it is harder to find in some stores today, Fruit Stripe gum endures in memory as a vibrant emblem of playful, mid to late 20th century candy culture. It reminds us that sometimes the most fleeting flavors leave the most lasting impressions, both on taste buds and in nostalgia. Mallow Cups Original Version. Mallow Cups, in their original version, were a chocolatey, marshmallow-filled delight that captured the imagination of children and adults alike. Introduced in 1936 by the Boyer Candy Company in Pennsylvania, these small, round cups combined a creamy whipped marshmallow center with a milk chocolate coating, offering a soft, sweet contrast to the richer, denser chocolate candies of the era. The original recipe emphasized a light, airy filling that seemed to melt in your mouth, creating a playful texture that made them an instant favorite for Halloween parties, school lunches, and family gatherings. Wrapped in simple foil with the cheerful Mallow Cup label, they were easy to hand out, fun to unwrap, and satisfying to eat. The origin of Mallow Cups reflects a period when candy makers experimented with marshmallow and chocolate combinations to create affordable, long-lasting treats. The whipped marshmallow core, coupled with a thin chocolate shell, allowed the candy to remain shelf-stable and easy to package for mass distribution, while still providing a sense of indulgence. Its small size made it perfect for trick-or-treating, a bite-sized pleasure that balanced sweetness with whimsy, and its peanut-free formulation made it a more inclusive treat compared to other chocolate candies. Eating an original Mallow Cup was as much about texture as flavor. The way the marshmallow yielded under a gentle bite, giving way to the chocolate shell, created a multi-sensory delight. Families remember the joy of unwrapping several at once, stacking them like tiny towers and savoring the combination of creamy and chocolatey sensations. Though the candy has evolved over the decades, the original Mallow Cup remains a nostalgic emblem of mid-century Halloween. A sweet reminder that innovative simplicity, just chocolate and marshmallow, can create a timeless treat that lingers in memory long after the last bite. Sugar Daddy. Sugar Daddy is a candy that feels like a relic of a simpler time, a long, slow treat meant to be savored rather than devoured. Introduced in 1925 by the James O. Welch Company, this oversized caramel on a stick became a Halloween and fairground staple, offering a rich, buttery flavor that could last for hours if you were patient enough. Unlike bite-sized chocolates or quick sweets, Sugar Daddy demanded attention and perseverance, turning candy eating into a small, satisfying ritual. Wrapped in bright orange and yellow paper, it was both visually appealing and practically indestructible, making it a reliable favorite in trick-or-treat bags and candy dishes across the country. The origin of Sugar Daddy reflects early 20th century ingenuity in creating long-lasting, portable confections. Its simple composition of sugar, corn syrup, and butter resulted in a chewy, slow-melting caramel that could survive shipping, storage, and hours of handling by eager children. This was a candy designed for longevity, practicality, and indulgence all at once, offering a sustained flavor experience unlike the fleeting taste of gum or chocolate. Its stick format made it easy to hold, eat, and carry, turning even a quick snack into a small, memorable adventure. Eating a Sugar Daddy was as much about the experience as the flavor. Kids remember unwrapping it slowly, watching the caramel gleam in the light, and savoring each bite with careful, sticky attention. Parents appreciated that it kept children occupied while still delivering a sweet reward. Though it has become less common in modern Halloween spreads, Sugar Daddy remains an emblem of mid-century candy craftsmanship and a reminder that sometimes the best treats are those that take time, patience, and a little nostalgic charm to truly enjoy. Sky Bar. Sky Bar is a candy that evokes mid-century Americana, a chocolate bar that combines whimsy, variety, and indulgence in a single package. Introduced in 1938 by Necco, this rectangular bar featured 4 separate sections, each with a distinct filling: vanilla, caramel, peanut, and fudge, all enrobed in milk chocolate. Its divided design allowed children to taste each flavor individually or mix them together, turning each bite into a small experiment of textures and tastes. Wrapped in bright, colorful packaging with a distinctive logo, Sky Bar became a staple in Halloween bags, lunch boxes, and corner store candy aisles, instantly recognizable and fondly remembered by generations. The origin of Sky Bar reflects the ingenuity of candy makers looking to offer variety in a single, affordable product. At a time when chocolate was cherished and often rationed, combining multiple flavors in one bar was a clever way to appeal to different palates while keeping production costs manageable. Its fillings, ranging from smooth vanilla to rich peanut butter, were crafted to delight the senses with contrasting textures, giving it a novelty factor that set it apart from standard chocolate bars. The bar's practical design and shelf-stable nature made it perfect for handing out during Halloween or saving a piece for later enjoyment. Eating a Sky Bar was an experience in both flavor and fun. Kids remember breaking off sections, comparing favorites, and sometimes trading pieces with friends to sample all 4 fillings. Parents appreciated that it offered variety in a single candy without being overly messy. Though Sky Bar has faded from mainstream shelves in many regions, its memory endures, representing a time when candy makers experimented with creativity and craftsmanship. It's a reminder that thoughtful design and playful flavors can turn even a simple chocolate bar into a beloved icon of nostalgic Halloween treats. Zagnut. Zagnut is one of those candies that feels like a hidden gem of the Halloween past. A chewy, crunchy bar that combined peanut butter and toasted coconut in a way that was surprisingly satisfying. Introduced in 1930 by D.L. Clark Company, Zagnut's unique combination set it apart from the sea of chocolate bars dominating candy aisles, giving kids a sweet, nutty, and slightly tropical flavor experience. Its distinctive gold wrapper and bold red lettering made it stand out in trick-or-treat bags, while the crunch of toasted coconut paired with the creamy peanut butter filling created a memorable texture that lingered in the memory long after the candy was gone. The origin of Zagnut reflects the ingenuity of early 20th century candy makers who sought to combine unusual textures and flavors in a way that was both affordable and shelf-stable. The bar's peanut butter base offered protein-rich richness, while the coconut coating added a satisfying chew and visual flair. Unlike softer chocolates that could melt or break, Zagnut's firm, crunchy exterior allowed it to survive a night of trick-or-treating or days in a candy dish, making it a practical choice for families. Its quirky flavor and texture combination also exemplified a time when candy makers weren't afraid to experiment, creating treats that felt both novel and indulgent. Eating a Zagnut was an experience in contrasts. The crunchy coconut gave way to a smooth, nutty interior, each bite offering both texture and flavor. Children remember comparing it to other candies in their haul, intrigued by its unusual taste, while parents appreciated that it was sturdy, portable, and mess-free. Though Zagnut is less common today and often overlooked in modern candy discussions, it remains a symbol of creative confectionery, a reminder that sometimes the most unusual combinations become the most enduring memories of Halloween past. Caramel Apple Pops, vintage. Caramel apple pops were the quintessential autumn treat, capturing the flavor of fall in a single handheld candy. Introduced in the mid-20th century, these lollipops combined the tart sweetness of apple-flavored candy with a smooth, buttery caramel coating, creating a miniature version of the classic fairground or homemade caramel apple. Wrapped in vibrant foil and mounted on a sturdy stick, they were easy to hand out to trick-or-treaters or enjoy as a sweet snack after school. For children of the era, unwrapping a caramel apple pop was like holding a tiny piece of fall magic. Sticky, chewy, and fragrant with the sense of Halloween and harvest season. The origin of caramel apple pops reflects mid-century candy innovation, when manufacturers sought to replicate beloved homemade treats in a convenient, mass-produced form. By combining sugar, corn syrup, artificial apple flavoring, and caramel, candy makers created a shelf-stable confection that could survive the journey from factory to candy bowl without losing taste or texture. Its clever design mimicked the nostalgia of biting into a full-sized caramel apple, but in a portioned, portable format suitable for children's hands and trick-or-treating adventures. Eating a caramel apple pop was an event in itself. Kids remember carefully peeling back the wrapper, savoring the sweet apple flavor mingling with the rich, sticky caramel, and marveling at the way it clung to their fingers and teeth. Parents often smiled at the delight and mess it caused, knowing the combination of flavors was a seasonal treat worth every sticky bite. Though these lollipops have largely disappeared from modern candy aisles, their memory endures, a sweet emblem of autumn past. Caramel apple pops remind us that candy isn't just about sugar, it's about evoking a season, a feeling, and the joy of indulging in a little magic during Halloween. Wax bottles. Wax bottles are one of those whimsical candies that perfectly capture the playful spirit of mid-century Halloween. Introduced in the early 20th century, these small, colorful wax containers were filled with a sweet, tangy liquid, often fruit-flavored, and designed to be both amusing and edible. Kids loved them not just for the candy inside, but for the novelty of squeezing the wax bottle to release the flavored syrup, turning candy eating into a playful, interactive experience. Brightly colored and often packaged in small bags for trick-or-treaters, wax bottles were a staple at school parties, Halloween gatherings, and neighborhood exchanges, delighting children with both their look and their liquid surprise. The origin of wax bottles reflects a time when candy makers sought novelty and creativity alongside flavor. The wax itself was made from paraffin, safe to handle and chew, and the liquid filling provided a burst of sweetness that contrasted with the neutral wax exterior. Their design was clever, offering a portable, shelf-stable treat that could be enjoyed slowly or shared with friends. Unlike standard hard candies or chocolates, wax bottles engaged multiple senses: the visual appeal of the bright wax, the tactile fun of squeezing, and the surprising rush of flavor inside. Eating a wax bottle was as much about experience as taste. Children remember unwrapping them carefully, holding them between fingers, and squeezing the liquid into their mouths or onto their tongues, sometimes laughing at the mess it caused. Parents appreciated that despite the sticky fun, the candies were small and inexpensive, perfect for holiday handouts. Though wax bottles have largely vanished from mainstream candy shelves, they remain a nostalgic emblem of playful ingenuity in confectionery, reminding us that sometimes the simplest interactive elements can make a treat unforgettable. Bubblegum cigars. Bubblegum cigars are a candy that perfectly captures the playful, cheeky spirit of mid-20th century treats, straddling the line between novelty and indulgence. Introduced in the 1930s, these oversized sticks of bubblegum were wrapped to resemble miniature cigars, complete with a faux band and sometimes even a tapered end. Kids were drawn to them not just for the gum itself, but for the theatricality. They could pretend to puff on a cigar, playfully imitating adults, before unwrapping it and enjoying a long, chewy piece of gum. They became a popular Halloween handout, a fairground staple, and a novelty gift for birthdays or holidays, embodying both humor and sweetness in a single package. The origin of bubblegum cigars reflects a time when candy makers experimented with novelty designs that engaged children's imaginations. Made from basic gum base, sugar, and flavoring, the gum itself was straightforward, but the packaging transformed it into something memorable and playful. The idea of mimicking adult rituals in a safe, edible form made these candies culturally intriguing. A candy that was as much about performance and fun as it was about taste. Its durability and portability made it ideal for trick-or-treating, allowing children to show off their miniature cigars without worrying about them breaking or melting. Eating a bubblegum cigar was an experience layered in both whimsy and flavor. Children remember carefully unwrapping the paper, pretending to puff, and then enjoying the chewy, sweet gum inside, sometimes savoring it for hours. Parents may have smiled at the harmless imitation of adult habits while enjoying the simplicity of a long-lasting treat. Though bubblegum cigars have largely disappeared from modern candy shelves, they remain a nostalgic symbol of candy ingenuity, a reminder that sometimes the joy of a treat comes as much from imagination as from flavor. Tootsie Rolls, original wrappers and flavors. Tootsie Rolls are an iconic candy that shaped generations of Halloween memories, celebrated for their chewy chocolate flavor and enduring simplicity. Introduced in 1896 by Leo Hirschfield, these small, cylindrical treats quickly became a staple of American candy culture, thanks to their unique combination of chocolate, sugar, and a slightly caramelized chewiness. Wrapped individually in waxed paper with the classic brown, orange, and cream-colored stripes, the original Tootsie Rolls offered a reliable, mess-free snack that could survive trick-or-treat bags, lunch boxes, or the occasional pocket without losing flavor or form. The origin of Tootsie Rolls reflects the ingenuity of early 20th century candy makers who sought to create a chocolate-flavored confection that was shelf-stable, affordable, and accessible. Its formulation allowed it to withstand heat better than many other chocolates of the era, making it ideal for shipping across the United States and perfect for holiday handouts. The flavor was simple yet memorable, a gentle chocolate taste with a firm, chewy texture that was satisfying to bite and lingered pleasantly on the palate. Its small size and long-lasting chew also made it a practical treat for parents, who appreciated that it kept children occupied without a sugar overload. Eating a Tootsie Roll was an experience in nostalgia. Children remember carefully unwrapping the striped wax paper, savoring the chewy texture, and perhaps trading flavors with friends to make the snack last longer. Parents recall passing them out on Halloween or slipping a few into lunch boxes as a small, comforting treat. Though the candy has evolved over the years, the original wrappers and flavors hold a special place in memory, a testament to its enduring appeal. Tootsie Rolls remind us that sometimes the simplest, most straightforward candies are the ones that leave the longest-lasting impressions on taste buds and hearts alike. Bonbons. Bonbons are a candy that carries the elegance of a bygone era, a small, delicate treat that brought sophistication to Halloween candy bags and holiday confections alike. Popularized in the mid-20th century, these bite-sized sweets were typically coated in chocolate or candy shells and filled with a variety of creamy centers, often caramel, fondant, or fruit-flavored fillings. Their petite size and luxurious texture made them stand out from more common candies, giving children and adults alike a sense of indulgence with every bite. Wrapped individually in foil or paper, bonbons were as much about presentation as flavor, offering a moment of elegance in an otherwise playful assortment of Halloween treats. The origin of bonbons reflects a period when candy makers sought to combine visual appeal with quality ingredients, creating a candy that was both affordable and special. Using simple staples such as sugar, cocoa, and flavorings, confectioners crafted soft, flavorful centers encased in a smooth shell, allowing for a delightful contrast in texture. Unlike mass-produced uniform candies, bonbons often came in varied shapes and colors, emphasizing creativity and care in their production. They were portable, long-lasting, and perfect for handing out at parties, or including in festive gift boxes. bridging the gap between everyday candy and special occasion sweets. Eating a bonbon was about more than sugar. It was an experience of texture, flavor, and charm. Children remember the thrill of unwrapping the small treats, savoring the creamy center, and sharing pieces with friends or siblings. Parents appreciated the controlled portion and the elegance it added to holiday celebrations. Though bonbons have largely disappeared from mainstream candy shelves, they endure in memory as a symbol of nostalgic sophistication, a reminder that candy can be playful, sweet, and refined all at once, a miniature indulgence that left a lasting impression on generations of treat lovers. Fizzies, carbonated candy tablets. Fizzies were a candy experience unlike any other, a magical, effervescent treat that transformed ordinary water into a fizzy-flavored soda. Introduced in the 1950s by the Emerson Drug Company, these small, brightly colored tablets contained powdered acids and carbonates that bubbled and fizzed when dropped into a glass of water, creating a fizzy drink in seconds. Popular among children and teens, fizzies were often handed out at Halloween parties, summer picnics, or school events, offering a playful, interactive twist on candy that went beyond simple chewing or unwrapping. The excitement wasn't just in the taste, it was in the spectacle of watching a plain glass of water come alive with bubbles and flavor. The origin of fizzies reflects mid-century ingenuity in candy and novelty products. The tablets combined citric acid, sodium bicarbonate, and flavorings like orange, grape, or cherry to produce a carbonated reaction that delighted kids while remaining safe and edible. They were portable, shelf-stable, and affordable, making them a practical treat for families while providing a sense of wonder that went beyond chocolate or gummies. Unlike conventional candies, fizzies required participation. You had to mix them in water, wait for the fizz, and then enjoy the fizzy drink, creating an experience that was tactile, visual, and flavorful all at once. Using fizzies was an event in itself. Children remember dropping a tablet into a glass, watching it foam and bubble, then sipping the fizzy, tangy drink while marveling at the transformation. Parents appreciated the safe novelty, which turned ordinary water into a treat that felt like a special occasion. Though fizzies have largely faded from mainstream shelves, they remain a nostalgic emblem of interactive candy, a reminder that sometimes the most memorable treats are those that engage multiple senses and turn simple ingredients into moments of delight and wonder. Black Cow Bar. The Black Cow Bar is a candy that embodies mid-century Americana, a chocolate and marshmallow treat that delighted children with its chewy, sweet layers. Introduced in the 1920s by candy makers in Ohio, the Black Cow Bar combined a fluffy marshmallow center with a rich, chewy caramel layer, all enrobed in smooth milk chocolate. Its distinctive name and indulgent flavor made it a popular choice for Halloween, school lunches, and corner store treats, offering a satisfying alternative to plain chocolate bars. Wrapped in simple, classic paper packaging, it became a candy that kids could rely on for flavor, texture, and a little mid-century charm. The origin of the Black Cow Bar reflects a time when candy makers experimented with layered confections, combining chocolate, caramel, and marshmallow to create treats that were both affordable and indulgent. Its chewy, soft marshmallow paired with the sticky caramel provided a tactile experience that contrasted nicely with the chocolate coating. Unlike fragile chocolates, the Black Cow Bar could withstand a night of trick-or-treating, a trip in a lunchbox, or several hours in a candy dish without losing its integrity. Its design showcased how simple ingredients, carefully combined, could yield a treat that was both satisfying and memorable. Eating a Black Cow Bar was an experience in indulgence. Children remember unwrapping the bar, enjoying the interplay of textures, the soft marshmallow, the sticky caramel, and the smooth chocolate, and savoring it slowly to make the treat last. Parents appreciated that it was a portioned, satisfying candy that could keep children happily occupied for a few minutes. Though the Black Cow bar has largely faded from candy shelves, it remains a nostalgic symbol of layered confections from a simpler era, reminding us that combining basic elements with creativity can yield timeless sweets that linger in memory long after the last bite. Zot's original formulation. Zot's is a candy that perfectly captures the sense of playful surprise that defined mid to late 20th century sweets. Introduced in 1968 by the Breaker Confections Company, these hard candies were fruit-flavored on the outside, but their true magic lay in the fizzy popping powder hidden at the center. When sucked or bitten, Zot's would fizz and tingle on the tongue, creating a sensory experience that combined taste, texture, and a touch of harmless shock, like a miniature science experiment in every piece. The bright, colorful wrappers and bold fruit flavors made them an instant hit in Halloween hauls, penny candy bins, and childhood party favor bags, delighting kids with both flavor and fun. The origin of Zot's reflects a time when candy makers experimented with interactive, novel experiences rather than relying solely on sweetness. The original formulation combined sugar, fruit flavoring, and citric acid with a concentrated popping powder, producing a surprising fizzy reaction when dissolved. Its design made it shelf-stable, portable, and durable, perfect for trick-or-treating or keeping a few pieces tucked in a pocket for spontaneous fun. Unlike standard hard candies, Zot's engaged multiple senses, offering a visual pop, a tactile fizz, and a playful surprise that set it apart from more predictable treats. Eating a Zot's was as much about anticipation as enjoyment. Children remember carefully unwrapping the tiny sticks, popping one in their mouth, and giggling at the fizzing sensation that danced across their tongues. Parents could appreciate the novelty without worry. It was sweet, safe, and mess-free. Though Zot's has undergone changes over the decades, the original formulation remains a nostalgic emblem of creative candy making, reminding us that the most memorable treats often combine flavor, fun, and a little unexpected magic in every bite. Red Hot's Original Cinnamon Balls. Red Hots are a candy that perfectly embodies the fiery, bold flavors of mid-century confections, a small, intensely cinnamon-flavored treat that left a lasting impression on anyone brave enough to pop one in their mouth. Introduced in the 1930s by the Ferrara Candy Company, the original Red Hots were hard, round, and packed with a punch of spicy, sweet cinnamon that set them apart from the more mellow candies of the era. Their bright red, glossy exterior made them instantly recognizable in candy dishes, Halloween bags, and corner store jars, promising a quick burst of heat and flavor that delighted children and adventurous adults alike. The origin of Red Hots reflects a time when candy makers were experimenting with bold, concentrated flavors that could survive shipping and storage while providing a memorable taste experience. Made primarily from sugar, cinnamon oil, and flavoring, Red Hots were shelf-stable, portable, and inexpensive, making them ideal for mass consumption and holiday handouts. Unlike chocolate or soft candies, Red Hots demanded courage and a bit of stamina to chew or suck, creating a playful, memorable challenge for young candy enthusiasts. Eating a Red Hot was an experience as much as it was a treat. Children remember the rush of spice that hit first, followed by the lingering sweetness, the way the heat tickled the tongue, and the satisfaction of conquering a candy with a fiery kick. Parents often watched with a mixture of amusement and caution as kids tested their tolerance for the cinnamon intensity, though they have become less prominent in modern Halloween assortments. Red Hots remain a nostalgic emblem of daring, flavorful candy from a bygone era. They remind us that some treats leave the most vivid memories not just through sweetness, but through bold, unforgettable sensation. Caramel creams. Caramel creams, sometimes called bullseyes, are a classic Halloween candy that evoke nostalgia with their rich, buttery flavor and soft, chewy texture. Introduced in 1913 by the Gutz's Candy Company, these small, round candies feature a creamy fondant center enveloped in a layer of golden caramel, creating a perfect balance between sweetness and smooth indulgence. Their simple, elegant design, plain caramel wrapped in waxed paper, belied the complexity of flavors inside, making them a favorite in trick-or-treat bags, candy dishes, and holiday gift boxes for generations of children and adults alike. The origin of caramel creams reflects early 20th century ingenuity in candy making, when confectioners sought to create long-lasting, shelf-stable sweets that were both affordable and memorable. By combining sugar, corn syrup, butter, and a creamy fondant core, Gutz's created a candy that could withstand shipping, storage, and the handling of eager little hands while maintaining its soft texture and rich flavor. Unlike chocolates or hard candies that could melt or break, caramel creams offered a portable, durable treat that allowed children to savor every bite. Eating a caramel cream was a small, indulgent ritual. Kids remember unwrapping the wax paper carefully, enjoying the initial chewy caramel layer before reaching the sweet, soft center, and perhaps sharing pieces with siblings or friends. Parents appreciated that it was a manageable portion, satisfying without being overwhelming. Though modern candy aisles are crowded with flashy new treats, caramel creams remain a nostalgic emblem of classic confectionery. They remind us that sometimes the simplest combination of caramel and cream can create a timeless, comforting treat that lingers in memory long after the last bite. Big Hunk. Big Hunk is a candy that instantly evokes nostalgia for mid-century Halloween treats and lunchbox indulgences, a chewy, nut-packed bar that stood out for its size and texture. Introduced in 1950 by the Annabelle Candy Company, Big Hunk combined a soft, nougat-like base with generous roasted peanuts, all wrapped in simple waxed paper, creating a satisfying contrast of chewy sweetness and nutty crunch. Its substantial size made it feel like a real treat, something to savor rather than rush through, and it quickly became a favorite for trick-or-treating, school snacks, and casual snacking alike. The origin of Big Hunk reflects a time when candy makers sought to combine affordability, durability, and flavor in a single, memorable treat. Using simple ingredients like sugar, corn syrup, roasted peanuts, and nougat, the bar was designed to be shelf-stable, portable, and long-lasting, making it ideal for handing out during Halloween or keeping in a candy dish for days of enjoyment. Unlike soft chocolate or delicate caramels, Big Hunk's chewy nougat and crunchy peanuts provided a tactile, satisfying experience that engaged both taste and texture. Eating a Big Hunk was an experience of both flavor and satisfaction. Children remember carefully biting into the chewy nougat, enjoying the interplay of sweetness and saltiness from the peanuts, and marveling at the bar's size and substance. Parents appreciated a candy that could keep kids occupied and satisfied while still being manageable to eat. Though Big Hunk has faded somewhat from mainstream Halloween prominence, it remains a nostalgic emblem of hearty, mid-century candy craftsmanship, a reminder that some of the most enduring treats are those that combine simple ingredients, bold texture, and a generous portion of flavor. Butterfingers, vintage style. Butterfingers in their vintage incarnation are a candy that perfectly captures the crunch, sweetness, and nostalgia of mid-century Halloween. Introduced in 1923 by the Curtis Candy Company, the original Butterfinger featured a crisp, flaky peanut butter core coated in smooth milk chocolate, creating a textural contrast that was both addictive and distinctive. Its long, narrow shape made it ideal for trick-or-treating, easily slipping into candy bags, lunch boxes, or pocket-sized storage, and its satisfying crunch quickly made it a favorite among children and adults alike. The vintage wrapper, often striped in bold yellow and brown, added to its visual appeal, signaling a candy that was playful, flavorful, and just a little indulgent. The origin of Butterfingers reflects a period when candy makers were experimenting with layered textures and bold peanut butter flavors to create something novel and memorable. Unlike soft caramels or chewy taffy, Butterfingers provided a crisp bite that released a rich, nutty sweetness, making it stand apart from the simpler, more homogeneous confections of the time. Its composition, sugar, peanut butter, chocolate, and a few carefully selected stabilizers, ensured durability and shelf stability, allowing it to survive Halloween nights, candy dishes, and lunchbox adventures without losing its crunch or charm. Eating vintage Butterfingers was as much about texture as flavor. Kids remember snapping the bar in half, savoring the flaky layers that crumbled perfectly, and marveling at the combination of crispness and peanut butter richness. Parents appreciated that it offered a substantial candy experience in a manageable size. Though Butterfingers have evolved over the decades, the vintage version remains a nostalgic symbol of mid-century ingenuity and indulgence. It reminds us that candy doesn't need flashy ingredients to leave a lasting impression. Sometimes the perfect balance of crunch, sweetness, and a little peanut butter magic is enough to make a treat unforgettable. Jawbreakers, giant versions. Giant jawbreakers are the ultimate emblem of candy daring, a treat that tests patience, teeth, and sheer willpower. Popularized in the mid-20th century, these oversized, colorful spheres were essentially a candy marathon, hard, glossy, and layered with sugar and flavor, designed to be slowly dissolved rather than bitten into. Children marveled at their size, sometimes as big as a golf ball, and the thrill wasn't just in the taste, but in the challenge. How long could you savor one before it disappeared? Giant jawbreakers were a favorite for Halloween parties, carnival prizes, and novelty candy shops, offering a spectacle almost as much as a treat. The origin of giant jawbreakers reflects a time when candy makers wanted to create novelty items that combined visual impact with long-lasting enjoyment. Made from layers of sugar, flavoring, and coloring, each jawbreaker could take hours or even days to consume, making it an enduring centerpiece in any candy stash. Unlike soft chocolate or chewy caramels, these candies were durable, shelf-stable, and mess-free, perfect for trick-or-treat bags or as special holiday rewards. Their multiple colored layers also provided a visual treat, a rainbow of anticipation as each layer dissolved, revealing the next. Eating a giant jawbreaker was an event. Children remember carefully holding the hard sphere, feeling its smooth surface, and licking it slowly while marveling at the layers of color and flavor. Parents appreciated that it was a candy that encouraged patience and portion control, keeping kids happily occupied. Though giant jawbreakers are rare today, they remain a nostalgic symbol of playful challenge and mid-century candy ingenuity. They remind us that some treats are memorable not just for flavor, but for the anticipation, effort, and sheer joy of the experience. Charleston Chew, original mint, or vanilla flavors. Charleston Chew is a candy that has delighted generations with its chewy, chocolate-coated nougat and nostalgic appeal. Introduced in 1922 by the Fox Cross Candy Company in New York, the original flavors, vanilla and mint, offered a smooth, sweet nougat center enrobed in a milk chocolate shell, creating a chewy, satisfying texture that set it apart from other candy bars of the era. Its long, rectangular shape made it perfect for sharing, breaking into pieces, or enjoying slowly. And the iconic wrapper, simple yet colorful, made it instantly recognizable in trick-or-treat bags, lunch boxes, and corner store displays. The origin of Charleston Chew reflects a period when candy makers were experimenting with nougat and chocolate combinations to create treats that were both filling and flavorful. The vanilla version offered a classic, sweet profile, while mint introduced a refreshing twist, providing variety for discerning young candy lovers. Its chewy texture meant it was durable enough to withstand shipping, storage, and a night of Halloween adventures, making it practical for both families and candy manufacturers. Unlike fragile chocolates or sticky caramels, Charleston Chew offered a candy that was easy to carry, long-lasting, and satisfying with each bite. Eating a Charleston Chew was as much about texture as it was about flavor. Children remember biting off a piece, savoring the chewiness of the nougat and the smooth chocolate coating, sometimes sharing segments with friends or savoring it slowly to make it last. Parents appreciated that it offered a portable, manageable portion of sweetness without being overwhelming. Though modern variations have expanded the flavor lineup, the original mint and vanilla Charleston Chews remain a nostalgic emblem of classic candy making, a reminder that simple, well-crafted textures and flavors can create enduring childhood memories and a timeless place in Halloween traditions. Necco Sweethearts, pre-modern formula. Necco Sweethearts, in their pre-modern formula, are a candy that evokes nostalgia for mid-century Valentine's Day treats and Halloween handouts alike, offering both sweetness and sentiment. Introduced in 1866 by the New England Confectionery Company, the original Sweethearts were small, chalky candies imprinted with short, playful messages like "Be mine" or "Kiss me," creating a whimsical combination of taste and communication. Unlike today's versions, the pre-modern formula featured a firmer, slightly grainy texture and a subtler flavor profile, allowing the sugar and vanilla notes to shine without overpowering the mouth. Their pastel colors, soft pinks, greens, yellows, and purples, made them visually appealing, ideal for slipping into party favor bags or handing out to friends during holidays. The origin of Sweethearts reflects a time when candy makers sought to combine novelty, sentiment, and simple confectionery craftsmanship. The original formula relied on sugar, corn syrup, and flavorings pressed into iconic heart shapes with stamped messages that made each piece feel personal. They were shelf-stable, portable, and inexpensive, making them perfect for mass distribution while still providing a small, charming indulgence. Unlike chocolate or sticky candies, Sweethearts engaged both the eyes and the palate, offering a multi-sensory experience that made them memorable in both taste and appearance. Eating a Necco Sweetheart was a small, nostalgic ritual. Children remember reading the messages aloud, trading favorites with friends, and savoring the chalky, lightly sweet flavor. Parents appreciated that these candies were portion-controlled, easy to store, and harmlessly entertaining. Though the pre-modern formula has been largely replaced by softer, sweeter variations, Necco Sweethearts remain a beloved symbol of vintage candy culture, reminding us that sometimes a tiny piece of sugar, wrapped in sentiment, can leave a lasting impression on both taste buds and hearts. Sugar Babies, classic packaging and flavors. Sugar Babies are a candy that has charmed generations with their creamy, chewy caramel and timeless appeal. Introduced in 1935 by the James O. Welch Company, the classic Sugar Babies came in small, bite-sized pieces coated in a smooth milk caramel that offered a satisfying, slow-melting chew. The original packaging, a bright yellow box with playful red lettering, made them instantly recognizable in candy aisles, Halloween bags, and lunch boxes, signaling a treat that was both fun and reliably sweet. Their classic flavor, rich but not overpowering, allowed children and adults alike to savor each bite, making Sugar Babies a lasting favorite among chewy caramel confections. The origin of Sugar Babies reflects a period when candy makers were perfecting bite-sized treats that could be enjoyed slowly and were easy to distribute. The chewy caramel composition, made from sugar, corn syrup, butter, and flavoring, created a durable, shelf-stable candy that could survive shipping, storage, and trick-or-treating without losing its texture or flavor. Unlike chocolate or sticky taffy, Sugar Babies offered a manageable portion of indulgence that encouraged savoring rather than rapid consumption, turning a simple candy into an experience. Eating a Sugar Baby was as much about the texture as the taste. Children remember letting the candies melt slowly in their mouths, enjoying the buttery caramel sweetness that lingered with every chew, sometimes sharing pieces with siblings or savoring a handful over time. Parents appreciated that Sugar Babies were portable, non-messy, and satisfying, perfect for parties or long rides. Though newer packaging and slight formula tweaks have appeared over the decades, the classic Sugar Babies remain a nostalgic emblem of chewy caramel craftsmanship, reminding us that sometimes the simplest treats, bites of rich, buttery sweetness, can create the longest-lasting memories. Thanks for taking a sweet trip down memory lane with us, revisiting 30 classic Halloween candies that have sadly disappeared. Which one brought back the most memories for you? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more nostalgic treats and candy stories from the past.